I dove to the side, rolling into the grass a split second before the kobold fired at me. Sindari pounced as the bullet whizzed past my head. He tackled the kobold with the gun, but the 5 others burst out of the grass, armed with guns, daggers, and bows and arrows. The weapons were small enough to fit in their diminutive hands, but dangerous enough to be deadly. I leaped up from my roll in time to greet 2 rushing kobolds, 1 male and 1 female, with Chopper. The male had a dagger, and the female a pistol. Faster than she could take aim, I whipped the blade across to strike the weapon. I'd only intended to knock it from her grip, but Chopper's magical blade cut through it like butter, leaving a glowing blue streak in the air. Even though I could have finished her off, Willard's words came to mind. I spun on my heel and launched a low side kick. My boots slammed into her small chest and she flew backward into the grass. Her companion lunged at me with his dagger. His black eyes were glazed and he didn't react to his comrade being kicked away. As I skittered back to avoid the sharp blade, he stabbed at me with a combination of robotic movements. Like many magical beings, he was faster than the typical human, but my elven blood also gave me extra speed, and I was accustomed to quick and agile opponents. When he committed himself to a lunge, stabbing straight ahead with the dagger, I glided to the side and toward him, close enough to bend down and catch his wrist. I twisted it, but to my surprise he didn't yelp in pain or drop the weapon. He didn't make a noise at all as he tried to pull his arm away. I hefted him into the air, knocked his hand against a nearby tree trunk, and finally his dagger fell to the dirt. A roar came from the grass, and a disarmed and bleeding kobold sailed over my head and into the woods. "Don't kill them!" I yelled as I struggled to keep my prisoner subdued so we could question him later. "They are not yielding to my superior power," Sindari told me, sounding exasperated. Another kobold flew into the woods. "It is impossible to stop them without harming them greatly." The one I held struggled and managed to get a fist past my guard. It clipped me in the chin enough to hurt, and I had to resist the urge to fling him away or bash him in the head with Chopper. Even as he battled me, his expression never changed, and his eyes remained glazed. Someone was definitely controlling these guys. I twisted the kobold so that his back was to me and pinned his arms, pulling him against my hips so he couldn't move. To my left, the tall grasses parted to reveal the tip of an arrow pointing at me. The bowman hesitated, maybe afraid to hit his buddy, but he was too far away for me to reach with my sword. I plunged Chopper into the ground and yanked out Fezzik and fired. My shot cracked through the top of the bow stave as I jumped back in case the kobold got the shot off. But I'd been fast enough. The arrow fell limply to the ground. Sindari plowed into my would-be sniper from behind and batted him into a bramble patch with a swipe of his paw. The kobold's bow fell from his grip as he tumbled into the thorny vines. Like the male I'd captured, he did not cry out. Robotically, he tried to extricate himself. "They're going to keep coming if we don't do something to stop them," Sindari pointed out. The 2 he'd first sent sailing had regained their feet and were stalking back toward us, even though they'd lost their weapons. The one I held kept squirming and trying to escape. "Chopper!" I blurted, a realization smacking me. "You wish to behead them?" Sindari paused to knock another of the returning kobolds back into the woods. They only weighed about 40 pounds, which meant his blows could send them far. I winced as that one clipped a trunk with bone-crunching force. But it still had a dagger, and we couldn't let them continue to attack us without defending ourselves. "No!" I shifted my burden around and tried to put my sword's hilt in the kobold's hand without losing control of the blade. "Chopper's magic has protected me many times from mental attacks. Maybe it could break whatever hold is on him." The kobold's small fingers wrapped around the hilt, and he tried to lift it, to use it to brain me. I was stronger than he was, but he made a valiant effort, and I started to think I had made a mistake.